families. I am here today with Dash here. He's going to help me talk about some things that we need to worry about when we come home with puppies in a couple weeks. Today we're going to talk about briefly about puppy biting. They are almost 6 weeks, so they are in this phase where they like to bite and pull and tug on things. So I just want to give you guys some tips and hints on things to worry about and think about before puppies come home. Because once they come home, you're just busy with the day-to-day stuff, and sometimes I don't think we can really spend a lot of time thinking about what we want to do with the puppies. So Blue here, or Dash as they just named him, loves to play tug. He is such a fun puppy, but there's times where the toy is not enough and he starts to puppy bite. So some things we can do to avoid puppy biting is make sure we have a toy. Toys are a great option. They know they can tug on these and bite and chew on these, and it's going to be a safe option for them. Another thing is that we need to make sure that puppies are well rested. If they're tired or if they are overly exhausted because they've been playing for so long, puppy biting is a major issue because they're exhausted. Kind of like when a baby gets fussy because they haven't napped. Same thing with a puppy. They can bite more frequently if they are a little more tired than they need to be. So sometimes a break in the crate, just to get a little nap, is a good way to get the puppy biting to kind of subside. Another thing is to make sure that they have adequate chew toys. There's a lot of things like bully sticks or the yak sticks that they can chew on and they know that they're allowed to. Having a stuffed animal or a toy that is appropriate really helps. You don't want to make playing with their hands, with the kids' hands, as common of a thing. Because they do this and scratch in things, and the puppy thinks that that's what you want. You want to play with them that way, and since they only have their mouth to play with, they only think that's the only thing they can play with. So right now their teeth aren't as big, so it doesn't hurt as much, but as they get a little older, sometimes it can. So a good thing, if there's kids that are getting puppy bites, just pick them up and just hold them there. You can actually feel them calm sometimes, and they'll realize that that's not something that they want. What you don't want to do is you don't want to hurt the puppy in any way. You don't want to hit them or grab their mouth and hold them tight. It can give a negative feel to them, and they can become scared of whoever they have disciplining them, kind of. So we try to do positive reinforcement as much as possible. So if they start to puppy bite, give them a bully stick. If they start to puppy bite, get a rope and start tugging with them. Give them something that they could actually use to get out that desire to chew. You want to make sure that if they're not with you, that they're in a crate, just so that you don't have to worry about them chewing on your table legs or your couch or a blanket that's special, because they will if they have the opportunity. So if you have an opportunity that you need to leave, make sure to have them somewhere that's safe, that doesn't have anything they could potentially chew and ruin. Always, one of the ways that if you are afraid that the puppy biting is getting out of hand, make sure that you don't continue to play with them. If they're starting to bite, stand up, have the kids walk away. And if the puppy starts to chase the little child because they think that's a game, have the child stop and just not interact. They realize soon, once they're not playing with them, that they don't want to play anymore, and they'll stop. But the more that you scream or run or kind of make it seem like it's a game, they're going to instigate it as you want to play. So we just make sure that if you're wanting them to play with you, make sure that you're giving them the cues to say that you're ready to play. We like to do a lot of the quiet down play things. If there's not a toy, we're petting, we're not wrestling, things like that, so that they understand the difference between what you're wanting with a toy and what you're wanting with them personally. So Blue is so fun. My kids love playing, but it is something that it does happen, and it's very common, but we try our best to make sure that they learn that it's not something. Like a lot of things that puppies go through, it's all temporary, and so after a couple weeks, they will grow out of the puppy biting and it will be fine. But for that stage, just make sure you're trying to do your best to encourage good habits and things they can and chew on, and make sure that the children know that that they can always just put them in their crate if it gets to be too much for them. But that's the tips we have for today on puppy biting. If you have any questions, let me know. There's a lot of great opportunities, if you want to get outside, to talk about these types of things, because it does happen, but we don't want any child to be afraid or anything, because it is temporary and they don't mean to hurt them or scare them. So let me know what I can do to help, and we will talk to you guys later.